Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. Christina, once again, you find the safety and the solace that exists in your bed. It's wonderful. The lights are turned off. The sheets are that wonderful state of cool where they're not cold, but they're not overly warm yet. You're just rolling into bed, and it's so pleasant. You roll over, and then you come to an interesting realization. Before you had the smell of maybe, face cream or hand sanitizer, whatever it is that your nightly ablutions would involve. But as you roll over, you start to smell honey, honeysuckle and violet, and all this different semblance of the smell of flowers that are not pervasive in your room.
No, like, no, I don't have these plants here. Not in my room anyway. She probably has them in the greenhouse. But so, she's kind of gotten used to ending up in random places at all hours of the day and night. So she's just going to take a little bit of a sigh and open her eyes and see where she is.
You find yourself by the edge of a crystal clear pond. You can see the bottom. You can see the myriad of stones. You can see the myriad of stones at the bottom of this pool. This placid pool, entirely still, not a ripple on the water. As you are surrounded on all sides by high trees, beautiful trees that seem to create a natural canopy overhead. You are on the ground at the bank in a bed of flowers that extends out left to right, circling this placid pool. The smell is of summer and life, and it is altogether pleasant. You will see seated with his back against the tree and a gnarled, crooked looking staff uh, placed haphazardly over his shoulder. The individual pictured on screen, who was looking down into the water contemplatively.
Well, she recognizes the figure after she takes in the surroundings and realizes who it is. Um, she will move over towards him. Hello.
Hmm. The figure doesn't look up, but he points to the water and he simply says, "What do you see?"
She looks into the water.
To you, you only see water.
She furrows her brow. I just see the surface of the water. The I would imagine probably her reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And
Interesting, interesting enough, you don't see his reflection.
and my reflection looking back at me, but she'll look to him. Where's yours?
Mm. I am not of the pool. You are of the pool. If the pool is what is outside, it is what you still are, or where it is that you still exist. He reaches out a hand that basically has the same, it's narrowed and almost has the same consistency when you touch it as oak, at the bark of an oak tree.
Mm-hmm.
He will take your hand and he will take a step, pulling you with him, and you will walk out onto the water's surface, the water holding your weight.
Fantastic.
He will walk you very, very slowly to the center of the pool, at which point he leans down and he presses one finger to the center of the pool. At which point, in the very, very center of the pool, you start to see a darkness form. It's almost like clotted blood in the water. So that blood, when it has reached the point of viscosity and decay, that it has become black. But you see it form. It has inky red tendrils that reach out from this blot, and you see the blot start to spread through the pool. The pool itself starts to wither, starts to choke as algae, the same unearthly red color, strips away the life, the green, everything. And as you look around the pool itself, you see the trees sicken and die. You see the flowers wither away to nothing but compost. You see the land itself seem to become a baleful place with necrotic energies pulsing through it. And as the entity looks down, he says, "Now look and see what you can see." As he points down towards the center, the black mass, the almost corrupted heart at the center of the pool.
Yeah, she looks into that.
You see a number of your vision swims in the water for a few moments. You start to unfocus, like your eyes become very difficult to focus on a single pinpoint location, and eventually your vision starts to swim with the water until you are standing in, or you see a vision in the water of a number of people tied down to surgical beds, hospital beds, with very, very tight looking leather straps, and you see arcane sigils being etched into their flesh via twisted beings. These symbols you've seen many times in the past, the first language, the language of spirits, as you see horrible entities made of pain and blood and sinew being bound into their bodies. You see them become twisted, racked monsters as you watch on. You see an entity stand, though you can't see his face. He's standing on a on a. It's not called a gangplank. It's what you call it? You know when you're standing on a walk overlooking something that's going on below you.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of its name. Balls. Gantry? Is it a gantry?
I have no clue.
We'll call it a gantry for now. You see a figure standing there. Christina, you've been around rich people enough. He is wearing an expensive suit, a suit that's probably worth, a couple of €1,000. There's a gold lapel pin in the ascot that he is wearing. And he's standing there with a cane, looking down at this horrible, horrific procedure below. You start to see the view pan out, and you see Dublin washed with all of this huge amounts of negative energy. It's pulsating almost like, once again, like a heartbeat, like and the building that it seems to be centered on is a building that looks to be in the center of the city, in a sub-basement, a building for a company that is called Sharon Pharmaceuticals.
Oh boy.
And as you do that, your vision will become normal, and you will basically. The pool is beautiful again. Life has returned. You are still stood in the center of the water, but now the water is crystal clear again. The Watcher is simply standing there.
She turns to him a little bit wide-eyed, blinking a few times.
He doesn't speak.
Yeah, she just nods. There is more work to be done.
Ultimately, death flows to life, flows to death. It is the simple way of things. It is the machinations of the seasons. It is the interplay of human life. However, when death is twisted to become life, it becomes a horrid simulacra, an untrue privation. There is something that is rotting the spiritual well-being of this city from the inside out. Something powerful, something something that chooses to mask itself in virtue, but is unvirtuous to its core.
Indeed.
I do not know why these experiments are being conducted. I do not know why you, who are of the pond, of the pool of the world, are birthing what would be known as femori. Needless to say, that you are is worrying, and the corruption is fast spreading.
How do you have any advice on how to help restore as I wouldn't say stop it, but maybe cleansing it?
By the way, Lindsay, what is your spirit?
3.
Okay. He will contemplate for a few moments before once again his hand moves, and you will see a image appear once again in the pool of water that simply says Dr. Michael Brightman, Dr. Michael Brightman, MD, and it'll give the address of the hospital, and it will say, this individual has, or rather his, I am hesitant to say people, but kind, have several of these creatures that they have captured, but they do not understand them. If you wish answers, perhaps you may be able to render answers to their questions, and in exchange, you may be able to ask their captives questions that may prove enlightening.
She nods. That is a good place to start. Thank you.
Ultimately, this city is, I would use the term wretched. It is gagging on the bile of its own corruption. This is not a matter of curing an ill. This ill cannot be treated. This is a matter more so of, once again, there's a moment of silent contemplation, attempting to balance what cannot be balanced, because the nature of man is always more given to destroy than to birth.
She nods slowly.
The entity whom I send you to has been dead for a very long time and yet continues to walk. Bear that in mind when you speak to him.
I will.
Mm. There are plans at work, pieces moving on a board I cannot fully or choose not to fully see. For after all, if one is armed with the certainty of knowledge, then one knows if certainty cannot be averted, and in which case it becomes futile. So, when one can perceive what will come, one should only perceive so much.
Yeah, she's just taking all of this in. Um, why show this to me?
Hmm. Because as the earth bleeds, as the spirits cry out in agony as they do, I hear them even now. You are inextricably linked to the fate of the land that you stand upon. So you will rather naturally, be willing to fight for an ideal that is the conservation of tomorrow.
All right.
Do those pajamas have feet? Interesting. Yes, he totally said that, by the way.
She actually kind of blushes. She had totally forgotten about the pajamas. And she looks
Because, yeah,
down.
Christina's totally that person who's so uncool, she wears feety pajamas.
She is. She's like her inner child is like 75. Um
Change your name to curmudgeon rising.
right, right though. Oh my god. I mean, yeah, she sleeps in flannel pajamas and drinks tea, like
Does she even drink cocoa? Does she drink cocoa?
on occasion, yes.
Okay.
but but that's definitely a little bit of a tension breaker. She just blushes and uh chuckles slightly. My feet get cold.
Oh. He moves his hands to the left. You can tell he did something as he says, "Now they won't."
Oh no. She goes a little bit wide-eyed and she looks down.
Oh, your feet are fine. He's just improved the blood circulation of your entire body. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Just altered her a little bit. It's fine.
Fine. Don't worry about it.
Then she'll have to cut all the feet out of her pajamas.
No. Your feet will always be at just the right temperature. To the point, you can walk on hot coals and it won't bother you.
That's amazing. Thank you thank you, Watcher.
He has given you power. Not abuse it.
No, I won't.
No, it's going to be great. You'll literally be standing there. There'll be a nuclear detonation. Everyone is dead. The only thing that remains are Christina's feet.
That is amazing. I love that.
How? Irritate 10 thermal shielding. What do you want from me?
It's amazing.
But with that, Christina, for the record, you will wake up, bolt upright in bed. It's the
Yep.
next morning. You feel pleasantly rested. Archimedes has made you breakfast. You just don't question it anymore.
Nope. Sure don't question how this owl makes breakfast, but yeah, she will.
It took you about a month to convince him, no, I don't want mice for breakfast. He was confused.
Oh yeah.
Because why wouldn't you want mice for breakfast?
I don't have the taste for them.
But on that note, we will end our very short informational scene. So
Yes.
thank you watchers for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.